Yeah, that's a really good question. Why aren't our girls reading anything like that? You know, I wonder. I feel like I've said this recently so many times that my listeners are going to be bored of hearing it. But I was watching Footloose. Was I talking to you guys about this with Isla? Mm-hmm. I was watching Footloose with Isla, and I got really sad. And I turned to her and said, I'm so bummed at the way you guys do prom nowadays because you just bring a friend. Almost no one did that. Who am I going to ask? Who's going to ask me? What am I going to wear? The hair, the makeup, the buildup, is he going to dance with me? All that stuff. They are not interested in that. They would rather make it easy on themselves and just bring a friend. Mm-hmm. There's so few girls in my experience of my teenage girls that have that steady boyfriend, boy crazy, he's my date for the prom. That was the norm. That was the majority. You know, there were some people who didn't have that prom date, which I'm sure stunk. But now they've like, don't want anybody to feel bad, or I feel like and this is me totally projecting. I'm sure that I'm incorrect. But I feel like kids these days don't want to make the wrong choice, so they make no choice at all. Mm-hmm. So they wouldn't go to prom with someone because he's cute and then he end up being a bum. And so I'm just not going to choose anybody. I feel like they're apathetic more. And then they just go and they just want to have an innocuous kind of whatever time. It's not about what is. Yeah, I don't know. I was watching Footloose going, I don't think you guys will ever have that feeling.
That's interesting. I mean, I'm not saying I disagree with you. I think it's really interesting, but it doesn't make me sad at all to hear that kids are like going with their friends or whatever. I feel like I was in such a rush to grow up. Mm-hmm. And then people saying like, oh, you're so mature for your age, or, oh, maybe you look older than you actually are. And feeling like I was just like on this freight train that was just like driving towards like adult.
Yeah.
And I wish I had hung out with my friends at the prom. I wish that I hadn't been all about like some boy and the right boy. And then like I found out somebody who's still a good friend of mine was my friend, a guy friend from middle school, Norm. And Norm and I had a deal where in 12th grade, if we didn't have like a partner, if we didn't have like a serious boyfriend or girlfriend, that we would go to prom together. And sort of at the last minute, I met somebody, and he held that a grudge. I don't know if it was a grudge or just was very upset about that for a very, very long time. And we like had to talk about it like 5 years ago or something. Wow. And I was like, oh, I was that person. I mean, I hate that I was that person for somebody. So I kind of love that there's pressure taken off, and that it's just like, I don't know, that they can be young for a little longer. I don't know. That's my perspective.
I think that's not a bad thing either. But what do you think, Cathy? You were about to say something.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure that makes them young longer. I like that there's not as much pressure, but they're also not getting their sort of experience in a safer place. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like if their first boyfriend is in college, when there's no like, not that they're necessarily talking to their parents about it, but I don't know.
I just don't know that it is a safer place. I feel like, I mean, maybe it is now because our kids are sort of more controlled than we were in the 80s, I think. But I don't know. I don't feel like high school was a particularly safe place. I don't know.
Well, at least my dad knew where I was going, what I was doing, and had a curfew. And at college, nope. The boy had to come in my house and pick me up for a date. In college, no. So that part of it was at least more regulated. Whether what I did once I left the house might have been a different thing, but at least there was like someone's watching. You know, someone knows where you're going and who you're with and when you're supposed to be home. Where in college, you're just all on your own show. Yeah. Here's something I think you are probably not going to like this at all. But.
Oh, do tell.
I know, right? I have this I don't really know what to do with these feelings about sexuality, right? Part of a guy thinking that you're cute and knowing that the guy thinks you're cute and there's like this hubba thing that's going on from a guy is very empowering or it was for me. Like, for instance, I think I've said this before. I used to hem my cheerleader skirts really short because then I knew the boys would look at my butt. And I thought, that's what I'm talking about. Now, obviously, that in some people's perspective is negative attention. But I didn't sleep with these boys. They didn't try to sleep with me. They just gave me the hubba, and it made me feel really good about myself. And I don't really think there's anything wrong with that. But I think in today's society, there's something wrong with that. You know, I don't know what it is, but I feel like girls that do that these days are told not to do that. You should not do that. It's like you're using your sexuality for power. And men and women have both used their sexuality for power. Women can't overpower a man and force them into a sexual relationship the way that men can women. So it's less threatening, I think, when women do it. But I don't know. Am I making sense? No.
Yes.
I mean, I hear what you're
no,
saying.
but-
I just don't see it not happening anymore.
You don't?
Yeah.
I think it's actually really confusing for girls because I think, you know, look at media, commercials, whatever, like everything is so sexualized. I think one of the tricky things, and Stephen is actually really annoyed and frustrated about this. He's like, I feel like Lily hates all men. Like that's the thing these days. Like any opinion, like men aren't allowed to speak. Men aren't allowed to have an opinion. Like women are taught to be so empowered that they don't value men.
Interesting.
And
I think we're in alignment here because maybe the problem is she can wear the skirt. The boy can't say hubba.
right.
If he says hubba,
He's an asshole.
he's an asshole.
Yes. And he's predatory and whatever.
Yes. And he's
So
gross.
it's like you're allowed to put that out there.
But it just can't
And-
be reacted to.
Well-
Right. And that's not entirely fair.
No, it's not fair.
You know, it's not okay for like 50-year-old men to be gawking at people or 12-year-old girls or whatever. But like, you know, and I don't want to like empower boys to be predatory or gawking at girls in high school either. That's not acceptable. However, there is some, like, how do you have any sort of natural sexual attraction if no one's allowed to express it?
Right.
I think that's really confusing for teenagers these days.
Or if a boy
Right.
expressing it in a boy way it seems it's so rigid to me these days. It's so rigid. Like if the girl is flirty and wears a short skirt and the boy goes hubba back and then she's like, don't do that. That's so gross. Well, what the fuck were you doing the other thing for? You know, now he's confused. And then if he's flirting with her in any way, he's just gross.
But when is the so gross happening? Because first of all, the so gross happened when I was in high school, when it's like
It did, but it wasn't damning. The difference now is I think it becomes damning and it's very rigid.
But I see girls in the mall who are doing the whole, you know, hiking it up and whatever and getting attention and loving it, and it's fine. I just don't see it so black and white. Like I don't feel like it's just turned on a dime. I feel like there's less tolerance for you know, for non-consensual
bad behavior.
But yeah.
Interesting. I don't know. That's just the sense I get from watching the teenagers I'm around, how they function in a group and how they function with their opposite sex counterparts. And I just go, oh, bummer.